finally here, guys. Game week. Couple days away. Obviously, everyone's getting prepared as far as this big football game between FSU and LSU on Sunday night, 7:30 ABC. There's a lot of excitement, but there's also a lot of excitement about recruiting. You're talking about a lot of top tier prospects coming over to Orlando to check out this game in person. Good portion there's a good portion of FSU commits. I won't go into detail about all of them, but Luke Cromahawk's going to be there. Trammell Jones is going to be there. Cam Davis is going to be there. There's several guys. Elijah Moore is coming all the way down from Baltimore to come see FSU, a four-star wide receiver. So there's several commits that'll be there. Micaiah Danzy as well. So those are kind of the guys that are certainly I've heard already. Now, important a commit that's coming over is Laway McCoy. He's a four-star wide receiver, Miami Central. He's a guy that if I was going to pick the shakiest commit, he had been the one, but I think FSU's done a really good job, and the commit's done a really good job of solidifying that position kind of with FSU that he feels very comfortable now with FSU. He's still going to take some visits, but that's a guy I think is a very important visitor for me. The number one guy, as far as just the uncommitted guys I see on that we've added on our list. And by the way, guys, you can see the full list on the PRB. I've had that posted since last week or early this week. I've went over. It's probably around 40, 45 guys already that are there. But the biggest name for me is four-star defensive lineman LJ McRae. He's coming over. I think his teammate, also four-star safety Zay Mincy from Daytona Mainland, is also going to be there. But McRae is the bigger one because of that's a need of a position that would really solidify that group as far as on the defensive line. He's a guy I feel can grow into a defensive tackle, but right now he's a defensive end, but he is just a monster of a prospect. Him coming to this game is a big development for FSU because they haven't had him on campus. And yeah, I know it's not a campus visit. And for those that don't know, FSU can offer tickets to the game, but there can't be any hosting or anything like that. But it's still a big deal that he's coming to this game. I think this is kind of the start of really making a strong push of going leading into that October 7th official visit he takes to FSU. Keep in mind, he's already taken all his other official visits. So this is a big moment as far as this game this week, and then obviously some follow up weeks where LJ McRae can visit. So I think he is one of the most important to me visitors that will be at this game for FSU. Now, you also have a few others I think that are key. Four-star defensive end Booker Pickett, who I think FSU sits in the best spot for. He will also be there. That's not surprising. He's from Wharton High School near Tampa, so it's not like a long drive over there. I think another guy that is probably not 2024, but this guy is one that I'm going to keep a close eye on that I think is a very key visitor for this game is Jaden Perlite. He's a 2025 Georgia commit. He's from the 2025 class, as I mentioned, but he is one of their top tier guys as far as that linebacker position. And I feel pretty good about. I think I put in a pick already for FSU to flip Jaden, and I still feel good about that, even though Jaden's kind of come out and said, "Hey, I'm dog, whatever." I still think really it's just the season. I think if FSU wins this game, I don't think there's anybody that will have a bigger impact on than Jaden. I think if FSU can pull out a win in this game, I think it speeds up this process and certainly makes a big push for FSU for his recruitment and just where they stand. There's another one that's big for FSU being on for this game is four-star DB out of Miami, Florida, Jamari Howard. That's the one I also still feel that FSU is the favorite. I think there's other teams involved. I think you certainly will see more visits and stuff like that, but I think currently FSU is in a very good position. Then And then there's a lot of 2025 guys that I think you guys have seen if you've looked over the list. You have four-star DB Ivan Taylor, who's a Central Florida kid that is highly skilled, is one FSU's extremely high on. Four-star defensive lineman Myron Charles will also be there, and then the biggest one probably in the in all the 2025 is five-star defensive tackle Armando Blunt, also from Miami Central, same school as Lemaine McCoy. I think FSU sits in a very good spot. I think On Three came up with a story like Miami and FSU are the teams that here mentioned the most, but I think FSU is the clear-cut favorite. Miami's in there, but I think FSU has really separated themselves from everyone else right now at this point. I've spoken with his mom several times, and there's a different feeling when it comes to FSU. Usually, FSU has to when they get going after Miami kids that you have to battle the family of liking Miami or or something like that or fighting against FSU. That's not the case here. Mom loves FSU. A lot of their family loves FSU. I think Blunt loves FSU the most, and I think that's certainly putting them in good position. But also just what they did on the last few visits that Blunt had to FSU. It's just different. I mean, it's a different feeling there, and I think so. I think FSU has really positioned himself. So that's a guy I'm going to keep a very close eye on. Another talented player is four-star linebacker Gavin Nix. That's a Miami, FSU, Texas. I hear a lot of battle with those three teams. So that's a guy that's an important visitor. Um, I've gone over the commits. Yeah, just to add in more commits that are visiting: KJ Bolden, Charles Lester. Those are some of the guys. Jonathan Daniels. So just to kind of give you guys a feel for that. Another talented one I like that's going to visit this weekend is Dalen McClutchen. I'm really intrigued by this one because he's all the way in Texas. I think that's a big deal that he's coming all the way over just to watch FSU game. So there's a lot of talented guys as you can see. Now people ask me, "Hey Mike, is there going to be like a somebody on the commit watch?" I don't think you'll have a commit watch, but I do think it's a game where it can pack several guys. I think FSU has positioned themselves well for a lot of these guys that I just covered that are on there. And like I said, you can go to the PRB and you can see the full list over there. I think it's around around 45 to 47 prospects already on there. Um, Certainly going to be a great game. I know the Warchant crew has already put out their projections, and I agree with them that I do think FSU is going to win this game if everything goes kind of how we expect. So my pick would be similar to. I'm not copying. I'm not copying you, but I would say 38-27 would be my pick for FSU. But I think it's going to be a tight one. But I think there's going to be a few plays late that FSU might make later in the game. So I know people are going to ask me, so that's kind of my thing. And no, I'm not copying Ira. If you want to put a 39-27, you can if you want, Ira. But that's what I kind of think. I think it's going to be a very tight game, but FSU pushing over late in the game. So obviously, if that did come to fruition, which these predictions pretty much mean nothing until the results of the game, but if that did come to fruition, I think it'll give another massive bolt for FSU going into the recruiting season. We saw how that was last year. I think you'll see a even higher effect than what it was last year because of where they're at already right now. So we'll see. It's going to be an exciting weekend. We'll see if FSU can pull it off. It's going to be a tough one. LSU's very good. So you certainly a game that you could see going either way. But I just want to kind of give you guys a breakdown just on the recruiting side of things, just what to look for and what guys I'm kind of focused on the most. But once again, this is Michael Langston, senior analyst with Warchant.com.